James, and I'm going to teach you about a science topic called soil. But before we start this, I want to teach you a new word. The word is property. Say property. Now say it like an old man. Property. So, I say this word, and I don't know. I know I have heard this word before one time, but let's see how I'm going to use it. I am going to describe the properties of different types of soil. So I'm going to be describing things. Well, I know sometimes I describe things by color or by shape. So let's see. Property. Characteristic of something that you can see, feel, or observe. Read that with me. A property. Characteristic of something that you can see, feel, or observe. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Now I'm going to make a connection. I heard this word in math one time. Having four sides is a property of a quadrilateral. So it's a characteristic. It's something about that you can see, feel, or observe. So I can see that. I can see every quadrilateral has four sides. Now I want you to think. Think about a property of a triangle. Okay, so a property of a triangle is that it has three sides. Now I'm going to use that when I talk about soil. So I've got three different types of soil that I'm going to start with. And the first one is sand. So I know you've all heard of sand. You might have heard it mostly when you were thinking about the beach. Well, I can listen to this. Kind of sounds like little rocks. So I'm going to hold it in my hand. I'm going to feel this. Well, it seems like some little rocks could be poured out. And it's not sticking together that well. If I clump it up, it just falls apart. So I don't know if this would be the best for growing a plant because it doesn't stay together that well. So a property is what I see and how I observe it, what it looks like. So I say that it's gritty like little rocks. That's how it feels. It doesn't stick together very well. And it's light colored. Sometimes we see sand that's lighter than this, but this is sandy soil. So a lot of times near the beach, this is what they have outside. Now, yesterday when I was at home, I went into my garden at home and I have some flowers and there's some trees, no vegetables, but I dug up and I found some clay. Now, this is not like our garden outside at school where it's up and we can have it all fluffy and nice. This is what's naturally in my yard. So I dug up and I found something called clay. Now, this clay is pretty different than soil. It stays together. By looking at this cup, this might look like rocks to you, but this is pieces of clay clumped together. When I got it from my yard, this is what it looks like. So if I hold it and I grab it, it'll stay together. Now, I bet when this gets wet, it stays together even better. And look, I actually even found some roots. So, a little bit different than my sand, this is a little bit more red, a little bit darker than some of my sand. So, that's how I can pick out what my clay really looks like. Now, you also might be able to make a connection to art class with clay. Sometimes you build a bowl or a shape and you mold it out of clay. But this is a little bit different because this comes from outside. So, I've looked at sand and I've looked at clay. I know my properties, how I describe them. And I don't know if either of these are the best for growing a plant. I don't really see many beautiful flowers come out of thick clay. I bet the water wouldn't go through them that well to help a plant stay alive. But I have one more type today that I'm going to talk about. And this is the soil that we have in our garden. So right here, this is what I have. It's darker in color, and it's a mixture. So this is what we have in our garden plots. This is the best for growing flowers. And this is other things that we see on the ground now. There's something really special in soil. It's called humus. H-U-M-U-S. And this is the minerals and the materials in our soil that help give nutrients to our plants. So humus is inside of the soil on the ground. So mostly our soil is dark in color. It's darker than the clay, and it's darker than the sand. So this is something we also could refer to as dirt, but that's not really a science word that we're using. And this has the humus that makes plants healthy to grow, and that's a little bit different than just using the word dirt. Also, this is pretty soft. It's not heavy. It's pretty lightweight. I think water could move through here, but I also think it could trap water to really help a plant. And so this is what we find in our garden. So we have three main types of soil that we're looking at. Sand. And it doesn't stick together, so I bet water runs right through it. Just like think about how it relates at the ocean, how the water is moving. Then I have clay that sticks together. And I have soil that has humus, that healthy thing in our soil, that's darker and helps our plants grow. So next time when you're outside, I want you to look at what you think is on the ground, whether you're walking on clay, whether you're walking in some sandy soil that might feel a little bit rough on your feet, or whether you're walking on some nice soil with humus in it where you could grow a beautiful flower. So these are what we're thinking about. So remember, when we talk about soil, think about their properties. Bye.